SBS was good. Appreciate y'all for tuning in this video, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Kind of been dark over the last few days, man. Anybody that has texted me, I'm sorry if I didn't respond to you, man. Got a lot going on, I'm having so many things to do left and right. So I'm so sorry. I'll probably be able to get back to you guys today. Sorry about that. But I did want to make this quick video because this was on my mind at the moment. I'm at work right now on break. So what I understand now, as I'm 21, starting to get older, I do feel myself starting to mature a little bit more, and I'm thinking with a lot more depth, a lot more critical thinking, just realizing different scenarios in situations that I get put into, and just trying to analyze things at a better rate, I guess you could say. But what I did realize is, and I wish I knew this when I was younger, being a people pleaser won't get you any respect. It won't get you any notoriety, and you won't be represented in the proper way, almost ever. And for me, this is a tough subject because I still struggle with this a little bit now. I have been starting to get better at saying no. Not necessarily just saying no, but not even being worried about like impressing them, I guess you could say. Because whenever I come around people, I be wanting to make people happy because I feel joy out of that. I like helping people. I like relating to people, that type of stuff gives me life. That's why in my previous video, I mentioned, that I'm in college to be a computer programmer. I'm doing computer engineering, and I don't feel much purpose in it. I don't feel much life in it. But when I say that relating to people and making people happy and having empathy towards people, it really brings me life. That's why I mentioned that I really love this social media stuff, this YouTube stuff, when it comes to self-improvement. All that degenerate content and all the laughing and the trolling, it's funny. Trust me, there's definitely a time and place for that, because I like to joke around too. I like to clown around too and make my little jokes and my little slick remarks here and there. But I understand though that there's more to life than that. It's nice to use your brain and critically think. And I'm thinking about like just so many of the different possibilities and so many different like aspects that come into interacting and communicating with people. I've had to take a bunch of communication classes over the last like quarter or two. And so I'm understanding more of how people respond to things and how people perceive not only regular communication, but like nonverbal communication in terms of like how you dress and how you present yourself. And when I say being a people pleaser doesn't get you respect, it's in the sense that people will associate with you and they'll smile in your face, he, laughing, saying, "Oh, it's so good to see you," like, even though they really don't feel like that inside. It won't come from a genuine spot, and it won't be perceived as such as well. When I say that, I mean, typically when you're a people pleaser, you're going to appeal to whoever is in front of you or whoever you feel that you can relate to. And one thing that has hit me hard is I realized that it allowed me to fall into peer pressure crazy and very easily, I might add, which led me to a path that I am not proud of, but I am working on. And it's led me to a lot of bad habits and holes that I have dug for myself, truth be told, and that I'm working to get out of. But the holes are still there, and it's still on my mind from time to time. You guys know I like to practice semen retention a lot. And when it comes to my spiritual practices, that's kind of like the one thing that I won't stand down on. If a lot of people will tell me no FAP and semen retention is bullshit, some people have told it to me to my face, and I always tell them the same thing. that it's your life, it's your journey, but this is what I do. And these are my practices. And this is how I get down. And these are the benefits that I believe that it has. But if you're a people pleaser, you might be like, yeah, maybe it's not that good. But you might turn around and still do those practices in the first place because that's what is true to you. And that's what I mean is that you won't get that respect and that notoriety because people understand that it's very fragile. If you're a people pleaser, it can be very volatile. You can fall into peer pressure easily. You can be swayed easily. People will not trust you. And it's especially worse if you're somebody that isn't like a good like worker or productive person. Like, let's say you are a nice guy, but you're lazy, like me, right? If you're a nice guy, but you're lazy, you're naturally going to have people that they like you in your face because you might be fun to talk to, or you might bring like good positive vibes and you're just not like a zombie. But at the same time, they're not going to really trust you to do work, and they still won't like you either way, even if you're a nice person. They might be like, man, I don't like that guy, man. He be doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has these certain habits that I don't like. So that's why you need to be really true to yourself, true to your habits. Of course, making good habits, okay? Like, if you have bad habits, fix them. Like, I need to fix mine. But understand that when you're a people pleaser, people can just walk all over you, and they can tell you whatever you want. They can tell you whatever, and chances are you'll probably I'm trying to find the words here. You'll let it slide, I guess you could say. And that's been a big problem of mine most of my life. This is why it hits me hard, because I've always struggled with telling people no or standing my ground on things, mainly standing up to people. And there's always a right and wrong way to stand up to people. You don't want to approach a dangerous situation with too much force, because it could backfire on you and you can be perceived as the villain very easily. But at the same time, I need to find that balance of being able to stand the ground but not being a crash dummy, being too overly confrontational and starting problems for no reason. That's why when a situation gets presented in front of you, it's just, you want people to like you, but sometimes you can get too much caught up in perfectionism. And that's what I notice a lot of people pleasers, such as myself, we try to do things perfectly, the most optimal way, sometimes thinking too analytical. And a lot of times you end up with the worst case scenario as a result of doing that, because you wanted to do the path perfectly and completely by the book, when you really should have just stuck true to yourself. I'm talking to myself and even anybody out there that relates to this heavy, because I've been, Patrick, you're such a nice guy, like so polite, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not that useful, it won't really matter. You'll still get trashed on either way. And that's why you need to do your shit unapologetically. Of course, approach it with caution and make sure you use logic when it comes down to making those big decisions. But of course, you can talk to other people, ask for advice. This is how the human race has been able to thrive on for this long, is through collaboration. So I understand that a lot of that stuff does matter, but eventually, once you start to realize how it can get with the communication, you're going to start to naturally like isolate yourself. You won't really go outside much. A lot of things won't seem as genuine, and you'll start to see through a lot of the two-faced actions. But you have good intentions. A lot of us people pleasers out there, we got good intentions, but we know that at the same time, not everyone responds to things the same way, and there's always going to be a nuance. understand that all of these things are built by little atoms, and one little movement can change completely how the energy of a room is, the relationship of a situation, the relationship between one another. One little atom shift can cause a whole butterfly effect to it. So that's why you have to, if you're gonna people please and be nice to people, approach that with caution. Make sure that you can still put your foot down and let niggas know, like, hey, I'll do this for you, but it's gonna come with this, or I'm gonna do this though. You know, that way. It's always a nice balance that is gonna really help you go far. But take it from me, I'm 21. There might be more depth to being a people pleaser than I even can comprehend. But through my experience, I was always seen as that nice guy in school. Used to help people with homework. I was a pretty decent student in school, so I would let people copy off my paper. And I actually still do that now. I still let people copy off my paper and stuff. But understand that you're, like I said in the beginning, you'll often get misrepresented and mistreated as a result. You'll be put in these positions, and maybe people will put you in position, but you still won't be represented properly, and you still won't get all the credit. And even if you come out and say, oh, I was the one who did that, it's like, okay, but the person ahead of you didn't give you the credit, so we don't have to. So it can become really complicated. And that's why I understand in the workforce, in life period, you really can't sit down and try to just make everyone happy. The truth is you need to make yourself happy. That's what's gonna really unlock that aura and really allow you to shine your light on the world. You won't be able to shine your light on the world properly if you're trying to make everyone happy, even if it's not genuine, you know what I mean? But yeah, this stuff really hits home for me because I've struggled with this most of my life, even currently still. But I'm getting better, but I'm still struggling with it. But yeah, let me know if you guys feel the same way. You know, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. You guys know it's always love. Back to regular videos. Try to get real consistent, man, because I'm gonna need this consistency. I'm gonna need some momentum, especially going in towards this end of the summer and the end of this year. Whew, it's gonna be a long ride. It might even be a short ride. It might be a blur. It might feel long, but it's gonna be a blur. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. My voice is getting really croaky because I got a lot of like mucus in my throat and stuff. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Love you guys.